All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Tröegs Independent Brewing, and they're out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, and this is their Trail Day. So they're calling this one a dry hopped Pilsner, and on the side here it specifies it's a German Pilsner. It comes in at 5% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is approximately 6 months past its Freshest By date. So I picked this one up for the Shelfie beer reviews in the month of July 2020. And I think this encompasses what Shelfie beers are all about. And what I mean by that is, for me, I find Shelfie beers to be, as I stated before, beers that you can walk into your local beer store or grocery store or whatever and pick right off the shelf. Maybe you went grocery shopping and you're like, hey man, I want a 4-pack or maybe a 6-pack of something. And you just grab it off the shelf. You're not looking at dates, whatever. That's this beer. That's because I picked this up at my local Wegmans grocery store, and it was in the mixed sixer selection. And I thought it said on the date that this was Freshest By January 11th of 2023. No, it's 2022. So this is about 6 months past its Freshest By date, and we're gonna see how this is. Now, I'd imagine it tasted better when it was fresh. I'm just gonna say that right off the rip, but sometimes you gotta review beers like this for Shelfie beer reviews because just how it is. And I know when it comes to Wegmans, a lot of the beers in their mixed six selection, they are older beers. Maybe they had, a couple 4-packs or a couple 6-packs left. They just throw them in there and people will walk right by them, or they'll pick them up, look at the date, be like, no. But then you get this guy who has no idea what's going on with dates and is just like, oh, it's 2023, right? Totally not. So here we are. Anyway, I have been wanting to try this one for a while, and here we are. So this is a German Pilsner. They're using Saaz hops, and that's pretty much it. Not much more to say about it. They have a spiel that I will read. I will read at the end if I remember. A lot of times I don't. Now this is the can's kind of tight, and yep, it's exploding. So hang on. So there you go, right? Hang on. You know what I got? Oh, shit. I got paper towels. Shout out to Ridge. I got paper towels. I'm still pissed. This is like the third beer that's kind of, I don't want to say exploded on me, but kind of gushed out, and that sucks, to be honest with you. But again, this is an older beer. It was in the cooler section. I don't know if it was kept cold the entire time. So we are going to wipe this down real quick, and then I'll throw everything off camera. But we're going to try to pour this, and hopefully it doesn't generate a huge head or anything. But yeah, I mean, that's sometimes what you got to deal with is... is there something on my glass there? No. Anyway, let's give it a pour. So again, this is older, and I might re-review this one if it turns out that it's not that great because of the date. But we'll see. I'm hoping not. Anyway, I just want to wipe down this before I put it on the coaster, even that's the whole point of coaster. See, I use the coaster in my videos as more of like a showcase as opposed to how a coaster is supposed to be actually used. Anyway, so that has more of a hazy kind of like orange golden color. A little bit more hazy than I anticipated, maybe some chill haze. It's not right on my fridge, about 15-20 minutes. Has some decent carbonation. It has about a 2-finger of this off-white, fluffy-looking head. Yeah, it kind of looks like a German-style Pilsner, albeit maybe a little bit more cloudy than I would anticipate. Let's get a nose. So it still smells pretty fucking good. So for me, Saaz always gives me that earthy, kind of slightly spicy thing, and that's what I'm getting here. A little bit of citrusy, like lemon. And then there's an underneath all of that is some malt goodness. It's bready, it's crackery, really nice. Smells like it might have a little bit more sweetness than I'm accustomed to with a... See, for me, when it comes to German-style Pilsners versus like Czech-style Pilsners, I always was under the impression like German-style Pilsners are a little bit more bitter and have a little bit more carbonation, where Czech is a little bit lighter. And here, I'm not getting like a huge sweetness or anything, but it's definitely smells sweeter than I would anticipate. Yeah, but it smells really like it's going to be really crisp, quite refreshing, and let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Prost. Either one. Absolutely nothing wrong with this beer. So, the explosion. I had that happen with Victory's Prima Pils, same thing. It exploded, but it ended up being tasty. This is the same thing. Beers like this can hold up. Now, if this was a say dry hopped IPA, I'm probably not reviewing this one because it's 6 months past its Freshest By date. That means that beer is probably at least 9 months, if not a year old. Now, I always talk about like, IPAs can hold up and stuff, but 9 months, 12 months, past that, probably not. This, yeah. Body in this one's a little bit bigger at 5% than I anticipated. This is like medium body, Really nice. It has a nice spritzy carbonation. It's crisp. It's effervescent on the palate. Has a nice smoothness though on the back. I will say the taste isn't like blowing me away, but it's a German-style Pils, right? It's not supposed to. So right up front, hit with that malty goodness. It's more bready than anything else. A little bit of crackery, slightly grainy sensation, but more bready. That's underneath. Then passes through the palate halfway through. I'm hit with this nice, slight lemony sweetness. And then there's a big blast of this earthy, spicy kind of hop character. And that's from the Saaz. And it finishes mild to moderately bitter, more on the moderate side of the bitterness. It finishes semi-dry, infinitely crushable. That's pretty good. It's not amazing. I don't think I'm going to scream from the rooftops about this one. I will say Prima Pils is better than this, at least in my opinion. I think this is really solid and well made, but I think Prima Pils, while maybe not a lot more complex than this one, I just think it had more depth of flavor. Then again, Prima Pils, I'd imagine this beer is at least 9 months old, if not closer to a year. But that said, like if I handed somebody a glass of this, was like, here, here's a Pilsner, and you take a sip, you'd be like, oh man, that's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. You would have no idea this is 6 months past its freshest by date, except for the gushing, right? That's an indication for sure. But outside of that, this beer is not turned. It's not off. There's nothing going on. I'm not getting any kind of off flavors. It's pretty damn solid. So not much more to say about this one. Again, I think Prima Pils is better than this one by a little bit, maybe not huge, but definitely like a quarter point, maybe a third of a point better. So I'm going to give Tröegs' Trail Day, their dry hopped German-style Pils. I'm going to give this beer we'll give it a high 3.75. We'll go 3.8 out of 5. I think that's fair. I think I gave Prima Pils a 4 or 4.1. So that's where I think in comparison between Prima Pils and this, and I'm only comparing because they're fresh in my mind and they're very similar. That's a German-style Pils. This is a dry hop German-style Pils. I think the Prima Pils, a little bit more intense flavor, and I think the drinkability in that one's a little bit more my style. This seems a slightly sweeter. It's not overly sweet or anything, but it just leans a little bit more sweeter. Price point, I again picked this up in a mixed 6-pack, so I paid like $1.83, but I think I want to say 4 packs of this are like $11-12, so that's fine for something like this. You're talking $2.75, $3 for a 16-ounce can. And availability, wherever you see Tröegs, you probably should see this one. Now, maybe you won't see it right now, or if you do, you'll see a fresh batch. Maybe you'll see the actual, I think this is a seasonal. I want to say this is like a spring/summer seasonal. So I'm drinking the one from probably 2021. Meanwhile, there's probably 2022 offerings on the shelves, or maybe upcoming in the near future, maybe in the next month or two. But anyway, like I said, not a bad beer in the least. 5%, you really can't tell. And outside of the gushing, I really am all right with this one. Like, it's fine. 3.8 out of 5. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Oh, I said, if I remember, this says, let's just read this. Most people have already clicked off. So if you're with me, I appreciate it. Post in the comments like, Joe, buy fresh beer, you idiot, or something like that. We'll see who actually watches to the end. It says, this is the beer you want in hand when your compass lands you at Trail's End. Starting with a backbone of German Pilsner malt, this refreshing Pils is dry hopped with mildly citrusy and earthy Saaz hops. As fermentation slows, we introduce fresh lager yeast, conditioning the beer and delivering crisp and clean notes of biscuit. Okay, I said more bready and crackery. Dried spice and a hint of citrus. Yeah, so I said spicy, dried spice, sure, and yeah, the lemon's there, so they're pretty much nailed it. And beneath all that is a foundation of good. When you buy a Trail Day, you're helping protect the Kittatinny Ridge, a 185-mile Appalachian superhighway that provides clean water, rich forest, and safe passage for. That's a cool. The fact that this is actually helps out the Kittatinny Ridge is pretty fantastic. Sweet. So hey, that's cool. I'm glad I picked that up. So again, if you have this one, post in the comment section. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.